With the second pick of the 2024 MLB Draft, the Cincinnati Reds select Chase Burns.
It's hammered down the left field line and way gone. A solo home run for Alfredo Duno.
Collier swats one into left field, testing the line. That is down a base hit. Rogers is coming around third. He will score. To replace him at second is Cam Collier with a stand-up double.
Find it short, up in the air. Arroyo steals a base hit.
A swing and a fly ball down the left field line, hooking toward the corner. It is a fair ball, and it is gone. Home run re-signs.
Make it two! Trudeau jumps on the first pitch and lines it for right. Blue crosses the plate, and the Tortugas will not say die tonight.
Lewis takes inside, throw to second is on a hop, and it is not in time. And there is stolen base number 50 for Kyle Headley.
There's a swing and a fly ball into center. Dunn going back on the warning track, leaps at the wall, makes the catch. Dunn hauled it in. Ball game over.
Swing, here's a well-hit ball to right field. Moving back to the wall. Campbell, that ball is gone! This game is tied!
That's airborne into the gap, into right field. Diving forward and making the catch is Hendrick.
Ian Fu with a skyscraping blast out to right. Daytona is on the board.
There's a swing and a fly ball to left. Rodriguez turns around. It's gone just over the wall into the seats. Home run, Sal Stewart. Kind of a high liner. It got out of here in a hurry.
Fly ball center field. Jorge there. And it is caught. Campanon cut and run and caught the ball. Put this game in the win column. Put this winning streak at 14. It's a new club record.
Righty sends. Hendrick signs. Drives it out into right field. That's going to be the ball game. Look out, Twin. Look out, Twin. Hendrick comes through. What a play. What a bat for Hendrick, the fans, and the Chattanooga Lookouts.
Welcome to Minor League Mondays, a Cincinnati Reds minor league podcast, the only podcast out there that exclusively covers the Cincinnati Reds minor leagues. So we are welcome that you are here. Thank you for tuning in. Unfortunately, it's just myself, Roger Strauss, hosting today. Ricky has some scheduling things, but we are here on Monday yet again to provide you the content that you are clamoring for your Cincinnati Reds affiliates. And starting soon, the ACL on May 2nd. So we will be doing a preview show about the ACL and the Dominican Summer Leagues, the DSL, coming soon. So stay tuned for that, a preview of those two leagues. Before we get into all the affiliate ball recap, I want to thank FrostBuddy, frostbuddy.com/redhotreds. Check out the URL at the bottom and also the QR code. Scan that. You can get a 10-in-1 cup koozie that will be able to be adjusted to smaller 10-ounce, 12-ounce type bottles, or the 20-ounce tall boys that will keep your drink cold or warm, depending on what you're looking for in your FrostBuddy. And it also has all sorts of different sports teams and logos on there, from Cincinnati Reds to UK Wildcats down south and Ohio State up there in Columbus. All those different logos for your favorite teams are there at frostbuddy.com/redhotreds. So shout out to them. Also want to shout out Hit Machine. We're having that Nabel Mariano numbered card giveaway that we'll be doing the giveaway on May 4th. So in a couple weeks time, just a little bit over a couple weeks. So please go to our page, our X page, Red Hot Reds Podcast. Like the post. It's the pin post, I believe, from Hit Machine. The guy that is providing the card is his handle is at Hit Machine Cards. So check that out for them. Please like our like, comment, and subscribe on this YouTube channel. We also are a podcast, so we go onto Apple and Spotify and iHeartRadio. So if you miss us the day of, we have the podcast audio form, and also for Spotify, the video as well. If you're into Spotify like I am, please like, comment, and subscribe. Review the show on Apple, Spotify, and iHeart. That really helps us get out there and get our brand out there. Also, want to shout out All Gloves Off. We are expanding. We got 2 new shows, Mr. First Down and also the Cheap Pop Society. Those 2 guys are going to be joining us. Trav from Cheap Pop Society, a wrestling podcast, Mr. First Down with Fanboys Unleashed are going to be joining the Sports Media Podcast Network. So we're really appreciative of them joining up. And also the draft special from last night with the boys, Lights Out Podcast, Mike and Cheese, but also a couple other drafts experts that were on the panel. Check that out. They did a whole first round mock draft. Pretty nice, exciting stuff, giving out their takes and whatnot about the NFL 2026 draft. So moving on, we have a chock full slate of recap for your affiliates. There had been some news though before we get into the recaps and the highlight of the performances for these guys. This week had some injuries, like Carlos Jorge got hit in the head and it was on concussion, 7-day IL, but he got back, I think, Saturday or Sunday. So it was good to see him back in the lineup. Same thing with Julian Aguilar and Chase Petty. Both of those guys got on the IL, which prompted Nick Sando. Also, Garrett Hampson got on the IL and prompted Nick Sando and Dom Patelli to be promoted to AAA, and they both have great performances that we're going to talk about in a little bit when we get to the Louisville portion of our program. So that was great to see. The Reds also signed an international free agent, 16-year-old catcher, Mikel Niblas. He's the first Mexican player to sign this period, and it was very interesting. A 16-year-old, I guess, he's a left-handed hitting catcher, a bit undersized, only 16 years old, like I said, 5'8" and just 152 pounds. Niblas used to play infield, but now he has moved behind the plate and continues to grow as a catcher, and he's shown an advanced understanding of the strike zone ability to barrel the ball often. So, like, he seems to have the ability to get his bat on the ball and put the ball in play, which is great to see. Last summer, he played with the Mexican League, Diablos Rojos del Mexico, and seemed to be playing with a lot of players that are up to 23 years old. And as a 16-year-old, holding his own a little bit, it was great to see that he is signed with the Redlegs officially as an international free agent signing. I'm guessing he's going to play possibly the Dominican Summer League with maybe a couple of years there to possibly move stateside to the Arizona Complex League. Maybe it was about 18, 19 years old. So we'll keep tabs on that for sure, as we've had a pretty decent international free agent class with Angel Nunez leading the way as the number 6 overall international free agent signing for your Redlegs out of, I believe, he's Dominican Republic. But yeah, it's been great to see that they are still looking for the international free agents out there to add to this organization, and probably down there in the Dominican. Might have a little bit of write-up on him in the preview going into that season in June or so is when the Dominican Summer League start up. So moving on from the news of the day, we have our top performers per day. We'll start all the way back on Tuesday, the 14th, where the Bats had a huge game and everyone else not so much. But we'll really talk about the Louisville Bats' historic day on April 14th in a little bit. But to get that started off, the top performers on April 14th, Hector Rodriguez with the Louisville Bats went 4 for 5, 2 runs and an RBI. Yvonne Johnson, Great Britain World Baseball Classic representative, AAA Louisville Bat as well, 2 homers on Tuesday, 2 for 3 to 4 RBIs. Like I said, it was a historic day. The Bats were out and killing it on Tuesday, the 14th. In Double-A, Nate Peterson, a off-season signing, Rule 5 draft. The Reds picked him up in the minor league portion of the Rule 5 draft in December. Nate Peterson, I think it was a Brewer at the time. He went 5 innings on Tuesday, 4 hits, 0 earned runs, 6 strikeouts in the loss, but still a great performance, or 2-1 loss. A great performance out of Nate that day. High A, Dayton Dragons, Reynaldo Cruz, 5 innings, 4 hits, 0 runs, 6 strikeouts, and a 2-0 loss. Still a great performance out of them, even though they got the loss against the Dodgers system of Great Lakes Loons, who are a pretty good high A team. For your Daytona Tortugas, Mason Morris had a nice bounce back game, 4 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 5 Ks in the loss for Tortugas on Tuesday the 14th. But it was nice to see Mason Morris bounce back after having a rough outing the last time out. Wednesday the 15th, the Tortugas broke out. They finally got their bats going, just like they did a little bit last weekend, where they had about 20 runs across 2 days. But also, there was some decent performance out of Ivan Johnson again, AAA Louisville, 3 for 3, 2 runs and a walk. Also, Hector Rodriguez again. Both of these guys having back-to-back great days, 1 for 3 with a home run, 3 RBIs. Jacob Friend at Daytona, 3 for 5, homer and 6 RBIs in a 13 win for the Daytona Tortugas against, I think, the St. Lucie Mets. Bernard Moon, on his birthday, 21st birthday, went 4 for 5, 2 runs scored and 5 RBIs. So happy birthday, Bernard Moon, on the 15th. Also Jackie Robinson Day at Jackie Robinson Park down there in Daytona. So that was probably a nice celebratory victory for the fans, and also a commemorative way to remember Jackie Robinson having a great performance from the Tortugas in Jackie Robinson Park on Jackie Robinson Day. Thursday, April 16th, AAA JJ Bleday has had a great week, and he started the party off going 3 for 4 with 2 runs, a home run, and 3 RBIs on Thursday, or a double. He had a double, home run, and 3 RBIs on Thursday. Double A, Chattanooga, Cade Hunter, 1 for 4 with a home run and 2 RBIs. Kian Vu got it going on Thursday for Dayton. He went 2 for 4 with a run and 3 RBIs. That figured, I think, in the win for that day for Dayton. Jacob Friend again, hitting really well for Daytona. 2 for 4 with 3 runs and 2 RBIs on Thursday, along with Bernard Moon again. Deja vu all over again. 2 for 3, 2 doubles and 2 RBIs for Bernard Moon. So both those, Jacob Friend and Bernard Moon, have been hitting really well this week for your Tortugas. Friday, the 17th, we had my guy Francisco Urbaez with the Louisville Bats go 2 for 3, 2 doubles and a run, while playing a lot of third base this week, which is interesting because he's normally a second baseman, and we already got possibly Edwin Arroyo moving around shortstop and second base. So we'll see where Francisco Urbaez ends up. It looks like third base might be the spot with the departure of CES Christian Encarnacion Strand playing a lot of third before. So it seems like Francisco Urbaez will be playing the hot corner a little bit more. Double A Chattanooga, Cam Collier, home run, 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs on Friday. And Xavier Warren, 1 for 5 with a walk-off homer to win it for your Chattanooga Lookouts at Erlanger Park that they opened up this week. So that was good to see him walk it off with a 2-run homer to win, I believe, 8-6 on Friday night. High A Dayton, Carlos Sanchez has had a great week too. 3 for 5 with 3 runs and 2 RBIs on Friday. Luke Hayden pitched well with 5 innings, 5 hits, earned run, and 5 Ks for your Dragons. And for Daytona, Tyson Lewis went 2 for 3 with a double, 2 RBIs, which, it's a small bright spot for him because he has not been performing well. On the season, he's hit 208. So Friday, he had a little bit of a breakout with 2 hits and the double and 2 RBIs, which is great to see. Hopefully he can get back on track, lower his K rate a little bit more, because he's not been lighting the world on fire at Daytona, playing third base there as well, a shortstop and third base, but a little bit more third base lately. Saturday was a big day for AAA with Nick Sando and Don Patelli, like I talked about, got promoted. In his AAA debut, Don Patelli went 2 for 4 with a run, which was great to see, playing shortstop, I believe, for your Louisville Bats. Nick Sando, we'll be talking a lot about Nick Sando with the Louisville Bats in a second. 6 innings, 2 hits, 0 runs, 6 Ks in his AAA debut. Big time stuff from Nick Sando, the big lefty, the 24-year-old, about to turn 25, I believe, in May. So that was a great start for him. We will definitely break down his performance in a second. Double-A, Big Rube Ibarra hit a home run, 3 RBIs in the 6-4 win, providing the difference for your Chattanooga Lookouts on Saturday night. Kian Vu again back at it with a high A. Dayton 2 for 4 with a triple, a run scored, and an RBI. Bo Blanchard, another solid start out of him, 5.2 thirds innings, 4 hits, earned run, 2 Ks in the win on Saturday night. And again, Bernard Moon, maybe player of the week, prospect of the week. 1 for 2 with a home run and 3 RBIs, and hitting home runs in the Florida State League is not easy. So that's why he got the highlight there. And he's been 3 out of the 6 days this week. He's been on the top performers list. So that's great to see. Sunday, the getaway day, last day of the series. Davis Daniel was dealing 7 innings for your Louisville Bats, 3 hits, 0 runs, and 8 strikeouts. Nate Peterson again makes an appearance for your Chattanooga Lookouts. 5.2 thirds innings, earned run, 4 Ks, and he's got like a under 1 ERA for the season for your Chattanooga Lookouts. So Nate Pearson killing it. Maybe a AAA promotion coming up soon. He is a veteran, I believe 29, 30 maybe years old or whatnot. So he definitely may be in line for a promotion on the top club, especially if there's guys that are injured or maybe guys get called up to the majors to create more space there at AAA Louisville. High A Dayton, Yerlin Confidant, the guy we talk about a lot in the show in terms of he's got to get back on track in 2026 after having kind of a disappointing 2025. He went 3 for 5 on Sunday with a run and 4 RBIs. And Jacob Friend again, maybe prospect of the week as well. The catcher at Daytona went 2 for 5 with a double and a home run and 2 RBIs. So a great week out of Jacob Friend for sure. And Bernard Moon for that being said. I mean, just those 2 guys for Daytona have been getting their offense going a lot this week, which is you love to see it. You love to see it. So those are the top performers for this week that was. And now we'll start off with affiliate ball recap. Daytona, they had a decent week, not great, 2-4, I believe, on the week. They only got 5 wins on the season, so they've been struggling. They had the breakout game, I believe that was 15th Wednesday, where the Tortugas came back and won 17-13 against the St. Lucie Mets, and they just had a bunch of guys hitting all over the park. Like I said, Jacob Friend had 6 RBIs on that Wednesday. Bernard Moon on his birthday had 4 for 5 with 5 RBIs. So they seem to, when they hit in bunches. They seem to get going 1 through 9 for the most part, just turning over the lineup and getting a bunch of runs like they did a little bit last weekend on Saturday and Sunday, but not necessarily the greatest performances in terms of just the other 4 games, right? They tend to struggle if they don't get, a decent starting pitching performance to keep them into games, because on the struggle list for this week, Shingen Lin again for Daytona. He went 3 1/3 innings, 4 earned runs, and his season ERA is 6.52, and he's not hitting. He was supposed to be a 2-way player that we had seen basically ACL level, was doing both, and a little bit tailed off from hitting it toward the end, maybe hitting just about 200 or less batting average wise. So it seems like they're going to really gear him toward only pitching. He hasn't made any plate appearances for your Daytona Tortugas in 2026 at the plate. So if he's going to be focusing on the one, maybe that's maybe best for his development. He's not necessarily a fantastic hitter, but he definitely has been struggling pitching of late, and that maybe is contributing to why the Daytona Tortugas only got 5 wins on the season after about 3 weeks of baseball. So it's a bit of a struggle bus for your Tortugas, but when they hit, man, they hit in bunches, and it's everybody. Jacob Friend, Bernard Moon, Kyle Henley's been doing really well. He got Tyson Lewis made the top performers list this week with a decent performance on Friday. So it's a bit frustrating. Edgar Colon had a decent start following up his prospect of the week start last week on Friday, I believe. So like he's been doing decently. It just, if they don't have the pitching in line and they're not hitting well as a team, it's rough. It's rough for Daytona right now. So, and that's probably why they finished the week 2-4, losing the series to the St. Lucie Mets. But next week, hopefully they can regroup get back at it. And, hey, there's glimpses. Maybe that's the difference between low A Dayton or low A Daytona and high A Dayton, is that these guys are not consistently hitting or pitching as well as other levels in this affiliate organization. But we got some decent performers. Hopefully they can build on their successes. And the guys are struggling, like Tyson Lewis with his strikeout rate and his 208 batting. Maybe he'll start putting it together now that we're getting almost a month into the season. But that is your Daytona Tortugas. The top performers or the top players of the week for your Daytona Tortugas. Bernard Moon this week went 9 for 22 overall, 409 batting average, 481 on base percentage, 727 slugging with a home run and 10 RBIs this week. So shout out to Bernard Moon for top player for Daytona, as well as Jacob Friend, like we were talking about in the top performances day by day. Overall, Jacob Friend went 8 for 18, hitting 444, 476 on base, and slugging 1,000 with 2 homers and 10 RBIs. So Jacob Friend, Bernard Moon are the top 2 guys for your Tortugas this week. Shout out to them. Hopefully they can keep it going into next week. Moving on to your Dayton Dragons. The high 8th Dayton Dragons. They split their series after losing the first 3 of the series, being also delayed, I think on Thursday or Friday night, I believe, and a rain delay or snow delay or something that up there in where were they playing? I think Great Lakes up there in Michigan against the Loons. They ended up winning the last 3 games of the series to salvage it, to split it. And they had some decent performers that ended up helping. Carlos Sanchez had a great week, and he ended up bolstering this offense because a guy that was actually on the struggle list for this week was an Alfredo Duno, a guy who came out hitting fantastically this season. But for high A Dayton this week, going into Sunday, Alfredo Duno was 1 for 17 with 8 strikeouts. And he got 2 hits on Sunday, but that raised it a little bit. But he was struggling all week, playing catcher and DH, splitting it with Ryan McChrystal for the most part this week. And Ryan McChrystal performed pretty well whenever he was called upon, either at first or DH or catcher. But Alfredo is maybe coming down to earth a little bit. I think his batting average is now around 230, 240. So hopefully he'll get it back going this week. Coming home, play against the South Bend Cubs. Ricky and I plan on attending one of those games since they'll be back home and the weather hopefully will be a little bit nicer than this 30 to 40 degree weather that we've been having in the mornings. But yeah, Alfredo Duno, a bit on the struggle list. Kind of surprising, but maybe not so much. He's last year was his first full season from start to finish after having an injury in 2024. So maybe there's a little bit fatigue. Maybe he needs a little rest. I think he's had a rest day on Thursday or Friday, which was good to see. But he has to get back to this, hopefully hitting out of that 3 spot, being the guy that everyone looks to be the catalyst of this offense in Dayton and the number 1 overall prospect in this organization now that Sal Stewart has graduated from the prospects list to a major league full-timer. So I'm not too worried right now about Duno. He's got another chance to excite the Dayton fans this week with a 6-game series at home. But there were some other good performers. Like I said, Carlos Sanchez overall this week, 9 for 25, 8 runs scored, hitting 360, on base 429, and slugging 400. So he doesn't hit many extra base hits. I think he got to 1 triple that cleared the bases this week, but he had 6 stolen bases. So, and he's been batting leadoff or second for the most part the last couple days, interchanging with that Kian Vu sometimes. So like having him set the table with that kind of speed, love to see it. Carlos Sanchez, I think, also just got named top 30 on the Reds prospects. So I think he's also now going to be probably top 30 or top 25 top prospect for the Red Hot Reds when we do our updated list in a couple months' time. But that is your Dayton Dragons, 3-3, coming home to play South Bend Cubs starting on Tuesday tomorrow, and they will hopefully have a good series against the hated Cubs affiliate. They also had the Chattanooga Lookouts. They had a great week again, opening up Erlanger Park on Tuesday for the first time ever on the 14th, welcoming a crowd that ended up being really, really nice I think the stat was they had 39,000 fans attend over the 6 games, averaging about 6.5 per game, which is awesome to see, especially because the weather wasn't terribly warm this week for many people in the country. But Chattanooga, they came out, unfortunately lost their home opener on Tuesday, but they ended up winning the series 4-2, opening, like I said, Erlanger Park up to the fans, and a lot of people having a great time, a lot of great social media moments and pictures and whatnot that came out of the Lookouts this week. And they did actually have too many guys struggle. They've been the most consistent and winning. I mean, they have the most wins, I believe, out of all the affiliates, going about 12-4, I believe, on the season. So they've been really, really hot all the way since the start of the season. I think I started 7-0, 6-0 at least. So their top performers this week, Cam Collier kind of broke out a bit. He hit 5 out of 20 overall, 250 batting average, 273 on base, slugging .600 with 2 homers and 7 RBIs. And then also a guy that broke out that we didn't really expect too much out of at the Chattanooga Lookouts level is Nate Peterson, the Rule 5 draft, minor league draft pick. He was spectacular. 2 outings totaling 10 innings and 2/3 innings, 10 and 2/3 innings. There we go. 6 hits against, 0.84 ERA with a 0.94 whip, and 9 strikeouts in those 10 innings. And that's good stuff out of the big lefty. I think his nickname's Big Country, and he definitely put it to him. He had a great outing both times out, and didn't get the win the first time around, but I believe he got the win the second game. So we're really excited to have that kind of depth, even at the AA level. I know we on this show like to talk about the AAA starters out there that could be just a step away from being in the majors, with like a Chase Petty, Julian Aguiar, and whatnot. Davis Daniel pitched really well this week. It is nice to see that the AA as well is performing well in terms of just pitching out performances, like a Nate Peterson and whatnot, and Nick Sando, who got promoted from Chattanooga up to AAA. Love to see that out of our organization from top to bottom. That's one thing that it travels well is pitching. So if we've got decent pitching in the minors and they keep building on that and keep moving up the levels, that can really help the top ball club. Whether you're a 22-year-old rookie or you're a 30-year-old journeyman, pitching is always a premium. So if we've got great performances in the minors, we're going to highlight them. We're going to talk about them. And we'll talk about Nick Sando in a second once we get there. So, good week for Chattanooga, 4-2 in the week. Going to have another series coming up against the Kansas City. Who is this team? They're going to be, I believe, on the road against the Kansas City Smokies. Or is it Tennessee Smokies? That's there. Yeah. So they'll be at Knoxville, Tennessee for their 6-game road trip coming up for your Chattanooga Lookouts. So expect possibly another series win out of these guys. They just keep churning them out. They keep having some decent performances. You love to see it. Now, for your Louisville Bats, they had a pretty decent week as well. 4-2 on the week with a lot of historic performances right out the gate and some comeback wins and some guys that were just performing out of their pants, basically. They had that historic day on Tuesday where I believe they hit a record 7 home runs and won the game 18-4. And that is just one heck of a way to start your week on Tuesday. As we know, all the minor leagues start on Tuesday, the affiliate leagues start on Tuesday, which is a heck of a way to start and get the ball rolling. They scored those 18 runs in fantastic fashion. A bunch of being led by Hector Rodriguez and Yvonne Johnson was awesome to see. Yvonne Johnson was a top performer for the week for your Louisville Bats. He went overall 6 for 16, hitting .375 batting average, 500 on base, and a .938 slug, 3 homers and 6 RBIs for your Great Britain World Baseball Classic representee. JJ Bidet as well was a guy that everyone obviously on social media is going to clamor for to come up to the majors because of how well he's hitting in AAA, and maybe his time may be sooner than later. He went overall 9 for 21, hitting 429 batting average, 520 on base, 952 slugging, 3 homers, 9 RBIs, including one that cleared the Humana Cabana out there in right field and just kept going all the way almost to, I think, the street out there in Louisville. Just the guy is seeing it really well. He's seeing beach balls up there, I think is the phrase, and was doing the most to make a name for himself to be called up to this big league club. I mean, I don't know how else to the phrase that he's done everything I think the Reds have asked him. The question becomes, is there a spot available up at the big league club? I know there's clamors of TJ Friedel and Will Benson who have been struggling of late. But, maybe they'll keep JJ another week, maybe a couple more days. They have an off day on the 23rd this week, so keep an eye out for that. If JJ hits well Tuesday and Wednesday and Benson and Friedel maybe do not, maybe there will be a roster change. We will see. But we will definitely see it on social media if that is the case, even if, Nick Kroll and Brad Meador don't necessarily make that roster move. But either way, JJ Bleday, fantastic week. Love to see it. Maybe a Cincinnati Red sooner than later, because a left-handed bat with power is something that the Reds do not necessarily always have, especially in the outfield. So we would love to see a JJ Bleday take that kind of production up to the majors. But that's the offense. The pitching, Davis Daniel had a week, 12 and 2/3 innings, two earned runs, 1.42 ERA on the week, with 14 strikeouts in those 12 innings. Heck of a day out of him. I believe the 28-year-old journeyman, he's been great. Again, adding some more depth to this team at the pitching level, especially with some of the injuries like Aguiar and Petty of late, and calling up a Nick Sando to kind of fill in for those two guys has made this team competitive. Like I said, the bats did not slow down either. They went 4-2 on the week, winning their series, there at Louisville Slugger Field. And the guy that we're going to really profile on this one, Nick Sando, a guy that was in Chattanooga just a week ago. He came in, Aguiar and Petty on the 7-day IL. He came in and he just, right off the bat, just killed it. 6 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 6 strikeouts in the 6 innings. He was just mixing up his pitches. He had a decent situation, or he had some situations where he was getting his pitch count up high in the 5th or 3rd or 4th inning. And he continued to be efficient after that, which allowed him to get into the 6th inning and finish off the Mud Hens and basically just have a day for himself. And the big lefty is definitely a guy that I think is going to be on our radar going forward for the Red Hot Reds prospect list. He had been moving through the system, I believe how Ricky had said on yesterday's show, pretty quickly, decently, moving up a level or so almost every single year. After this type of performance, he definitely is going to be sticking around the AAA club, even if there is a situation with Petty and Aguiar coming back and pitching again. It'd be good to have this depth and have him a step away if it is needed. Another left-hander. I know Ricky was kind of saying maybe a replacement in 27 for a Nick Lodolo, maybe if he keeps going the way he's going so far. But we know that all progress is not linear. He's going to probably have some bumps and bruises and learning experiences. So we hope that he can do that at this AAA level and stick around and learn from these guys, learn from the director of pitching, Derek Johnson, and the pitching coach there at Louisville. It'll be interesting to see how his next start goes. He definitely is going to have a little bit more of a scouting report on him as opposed to a guy who just got called up midweek from Chattanooga AA and just got thrown in there and was, striking out the side, getting some guys out on some off-speed pitches, which is awesome to see. I'm really excited for a guy like Nick Sando out there for Louisville. I think he'll have a great opportunity to keep progressing and keep learning and keep getting those innings at AAA, seeing as that we've had to call up Brandon Williamson to the opening day roster, Rhett Lauder to the opening day roster, Chase Burns. There may be some innings eating that needs to happen for the major league club for guys like Elian Richardson might get called up to do that. Chase Petty might get another call. Julian Aguiar might get a call. So Nick Sando kind of filling in right in behind them, maybe even Nate Pearson down the road, filling in behind them to eat those, to get out there and pitch effectively in the AAA level. You love to see it. I think you can't have enough good pitching, is always the phrase. And definitely, Nate Peterson, Davis Daniel, and Nick Sando were filling it up this week to get the job done for their respective teams. So we will definitely maybe have a situation where he's the prospect of the week. I don't know. We will see. But now we'll have the Louisville Bats, I believe, go on the road. They will be facing off against the Iowa Cubs, the Cubs AAA affiliate. So two of our teams actually it might be more than 2 teams. I believe the Smokies are a Cubs affiliate as well. 3 of our teams might be playing Cubs affiliates this week. Will be interesting to see. But neither here nor there. Jose Franco is going to get the ball on Tuesday. Our number 10 prospect for the Reds will be facing off the Iowa Cubs at 7:38 first pitch. So tune in for that. Moving on now to our prospect of the week. We have a couple of nominations. I mean, when I texted Ricky all the guys that possibly could be prospect of the week, it filled up the whole paper, all the way from, spoiler alert, Bernard Moon, all the way to Yvonne Johnson could be a prospect of the week. But Ricky and I had a little bit of a meeting off camera, and we came to a vote where we had a prospects of the week, a pitching one out of Nick Sando for the Louisville Bats, coming up from Chattanooga to have his AAA debut and AAA debut win. And also then for your Louisville Bats, JJ Bleday, who just had a great week, hitting .429 on the week with 3 homers, 2 runs scored, and 9 RBIs, and is looking like the next man up to be called up to the Cincinnati Reds. Although Rhys Hines had a nice day today, so it probably is not going to be Rhys Hines that's going to be called down or demoted. It looks like it may be a Will Benson or a TJ Friedel or maybe someone else who may get hurt is where JJ Bleday might be filling in. But, we hope that he continues to hit this week. Like I mentioned, 23rd is an off day for your Cincinnati Redlegs. That may be a day where there is a transaction or two that happens. We will see. We still got plenty more baseball to play this week. The Reds are in action, obviously, today, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then they start up the series against the Detroit Tigers at home on Friday, Saturday, Sunday for their Hall of Fame enshrinement of Reggie Sanders, Lou Piniella, I believe Brandon Phillips, and Aaron Harang. So we will have that coming up for the Cincinnati Reds. And JJ Bleday might be a part of that weekend. And that'd be great to see for him, for his progress that he's made since he signed on with the club, this offseason. Hopefully he'll be rewarded for his hard work sooner than later, but we will see. Sometimes it's just hard to fit him in if everyone on the ball club's still healthy and producing or is doing what Francona wants them to do. We will see. This will be an interesting week to say the least. Like I said, it looks like Rhys Hines has finally settled in and will be playing every single day, playing out there in right field every single day so far for your Cincinnati Reds. And we will keep tabs on all the minor league guys and see if Noelvi Marte can get it right and figure out his approach to the plate to be a little bit better, a little more disciplined, as he had a real rough three first weeks of the season, and maybe he can figure out and be called up, May, June, July, or somewhere along there when he's ready to come and produce again at the major league level. It's a long season, man. That's why we're doing these week by week recaps to give you a sense of what these guys are doing, how they're doing, where we may need some area of concern to maybe look at. Maybe we got to give a little bit more plaudits, a little bit more praise to some guys that haven't been performing as well and give them a little bit more encouragement, or to encourage the guys that have been doing it since day one, like, Bernard Moon and, and Jacob Friend and all that down there. Same with, Alfredo Duno. He'd been starting off the season real well, but hit a little bit of rough patch, which is, fine. This is each week is a new series of 6 games, which is nice because you get to re-lock in again, face a whole new team again for 6 games, and then have that rest day on Monday where we have our minor league Mondays to recap the week that was for your Cincinnati Reds affiliates. And we really appreciate you guys liking the channel, subscribing. We're growing. We're growing also as All Gloves Off Sports Media Podcast Network. Really love the fact that a lot of people are trying to get, involved with producing this content and producing a product that will be, as Mike likes to say it, podcast you can play in front of your kids in the car. That we're not going to try to go out there and say anything incendiary or any way, which way that seems to be, going to be inappropriate in any way. So we're really thankful that you joined up with us at the Red Hot Reds. We are here every single Monday for Minor League Monday, a Cincinnati Reds minor league podcast, the only one out there exclusively covering the Cincinnati Reds minor league system. And until then, go Reds.